confirm.
Sure.
Okay. Live. All right. I'm all for you. Hi, I'm Tommaso. We're here to play Broken Tales. The Kickstarter campaign ended yesterday, but we finally found a group of native speakers that want to play one day after the campaign is over. But the campaign went really well, so really this is more like a cherry on the top. So with me we have Phil that will play James the Swordman. Hello, Phil.
Good morning, my time. Good afternoon, your time, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know where people are watching from, so just generic hello, I think.
There we are.
Then we have Garuda Old Wolf.
Nice to meet you. I'm Paul. I'm coming all the way from Canada, the Great White North.
Right. Then we have the Pied Piper, Trent.
Hello, everybody. I'm in upstate New York.
Okay. And then we have Baba Yaga, the Child Witch, Camila.
Hi, I'm connecting from Connecticut on the East Coast.
Interesting. All right, so you guys know more or less what Broken Tales is about. We've been talking about it for 3 weeks. I really don't want to start from the beginning, but something that might be interesting for somebody who's watching the game now is a generic overview of your character sheets. So I'll try to share what I have here. Let's see. Now, of course, window. Yeah, I can try. No, what is the best way to do this? I was. Let me double check one thing. Can I open this on Chrome? I think so. Yes. All right. So we'll do that. Okay. Because I can share only Chrome tabs, so I need to put the PDF with the characters on the Chrome tab, and I should have it now. All right. You should see the characters. Okay, these are just the player sheets. At the beginning, there's a summary of the rules. We'll see them during the game, but pretty much every sheet is structured this way. On one side, there's the picture of the character, and on the other side, we have a description of the character, and then 3 what we call descriptors. And the descriptors are telling us what the character is good at doing and what the character is bad at doing. They usually are always divided in a positive side and a negative side, because when you use the negative side to put yourself into trouble, you will be able to gain experience from that situation. And when the descriptor is relevant for the action that you're trying to do, it will give you, by default, the 3 base successes, which is the number of successes you are starting from when you try to reach an opposition level. Other than that, we have a little section that is dedicated to equipment, and then a part where you can jot down your wounds. The wounds are also narrative, like most of the rest of the game. For example, when you are getting hit, first of all, the wounds can be psychological or physical, and you need to describe what they are, because they will have a relevant role in what you describe next. I'll give you an example. If you say that the first wound that you receive, it's a bleeding shoulder, it means that from that moment on until you fix your bleeding shoulder, people will be able to follow your trail, for example. Or if the wound is psychological, you've been terribly offended during a debate, your character might feel a bit depressed or something like that, and that might have an influence on what happens in the game. So that's why it's not just, okay, I just got 1 wound and then you remove 1 point somewhere. You just write down what that wound is, because it has a narrative effect. The rest of the game pretty much works in a way that you just tell me what your character is doing, And if I think that your character might not be able to do that, then I will call for a position roll, which means it's actually it's a bit of a misnomer. I suggested that we change this for English. I think it should be called a position check, because you don't always roll, and we'll see why. But in practice, it works that you are trying to position your character within the scene in a different way. You are trying to go from point A to point B, and there's an obstacle in between. You are trying to achieve something that is not a banal action that needs no check. Like if you're just walking in a corridor and there's nothing stopping you, you don't need to check anything. But if it's something that might fail, then you will do a position roll. And this change according to who your character is, because some characters might be able to do things automatically that other characters cannot do. One example is Baba Yaga. She will not need to do any check to understand if there's magic in the air, because she's a witch, and most likely she will know. She will just know. So the whole point of the system is that you will do checks only when you really need them and when they are interesting for the scene, and especially when failing those checks, it's going to be interesting for the scene. That's the very brief version, and I think we might want to actually start introducing the characters. And then we see the rest of the rules during the game when they come up. So, Phil, if you feel like it, would you like to tell us something about James the Swordman? Who is this guy?
Drunk. James the Swordsman is drunk. He has a high scarf. He's got a purple and what color am I? A purple and red cloak, a high-necked cloak to hide the marks from his paramours and lovers. James the Swordsman lost a hand to a vicious beast, but mostly he hangs out with the dissolute, indulging in good food and other sort of vices. There we are.
Very well. Okay, then let's go with Garuda Old Wolf.
So I have wandered the mountains for decades and decades. I'm extremely confident in my ability to take on any type of danger, and sometimes I'm overconfident in my ability to take on dangers, which can get me into trouble. One of my gifts is that once I smell somebody, I never forget. So sometimes, if I meet somebody and I catch scent of them, I will know when they enter our vicinity again, and I can warn us of any danger.
My four-legged friend. I have the same ability. I have the same ability, just not for danger.
And I can occasionally turn into human form, where I will seem more vulnerable, because sometimes a good hunter will make themselves feel vulnerable, or look vulnerable at least, to draw in the prey before I reveal my true self. And I have a great deal, as I said earlier, of confidence in my abilities.
Yeah, here I have to give you a little bit of backstory. He's called the Old Wolf because in reality, he is a bit insecure. He pretends he is still the young wolf, the head of the pack, but he realizes that he's getting older, and so in a way you are showing yourself like very proud and confident, but deep inside your heart you are afraid that you are not the one you used to be. So this is a little thing that might be interesting for you to play, right?
I love it.
And because the way we remade these villains is that, we took the original characters and tried to reimagine what could happen to them in this new Broken Tales universe. And they keep some of their traditional or like from their fairy tale of reference or the folklore of reference, but also they have some new elements. And for Garu, it's the fact that he is a bit insecure, and he wants to protect his new pack, which are the other hunters. But deep inside, he doesn't know if he can do it. All right, and for James, it's like he's not a pirate. Of course, he's based on hook. He's not a pirate. He's more a bon vivant. I'm not sure what is the English word for that, but just
Bon vivant.
okay, somebody who enjoys himself, pretty much. But okay, then we have Baba Yaga, the child witch.
Sure. So she's a child witch and very ambitious, and does not seem to care too much about others if they stand in the way of her plans. And she's always been aware of her abilities, so she's never really been a child, but she looks like a child, which leads people sometimes to underestimate her, and she absolutely hates when that happens. And she tends to come off as cynical and cruel, but the real background is that she really doesn't care that much about humans. She sees them as pawns in her plans, and devoid of the power that she has. She's a magical being and is not necessarily concerned with human matters. And she likes that the order instead does not look down on her age. She doesn't, they don't care that she looks like a child as long as she is powerful and she's a good leader. And she is a good leader. She can read people. She can, understand how people are feeling. She can sense the magic in the air, and she can do magic, which of course gives her a series of advantages. Of course, that sometimes that terrifies people, and sometimes it does cause her to be even less liked by human folk and animal folk.
Right. The little twist here is that in the traditional stories, she's an old woman, and here she's a child, and she's also a bit annoyed by the fact that people underestimate her as a child. She also doesn't like children, so that's something you might want to remember. And then the last one, last but not least, we have the Pied Piper.
Yes, so the Pied Piper goes by no names and many names. One of the most significant things is that he's sort of the destructor and creator, is very like a trickster figure, very unpredictable, may screw things up just because it makes things interesting. Also wears a mask, but the odd part is he's shaved his head completely bald, has tattooed a face on the back of his head, and then also on each side he wears a cowl so he can switch the mask, and you never know which direction he's facing and which face is his, and talks in different voices. It's very unsettling, especially as he wears a cloak that sort of conceals his arms. So he's a sort of unsettling figure to have around, because when he's playing his music, he can really get what he wants, and you never quite know which face is talking.
Okay, that's very interesting. All right, so your mission for today, you've been summoned by the regent of the city of Freiburg, in the west of the Dark Forest in Germany. And the regent has contacted the order because he wants somebody to investigate on the activities of Margareta Westen, which apparently is a witch. And rumor has it that she's performing weird experiments in a little village that is not too far from Freiburg, and this village is called Gelb. There are no proofs of any blasphemy, but you know that the village of Gelb has been avoided in recent times because all the people that have settled there, they are considered freaks. They have some. They either have some kind of mental illness, or their body is somewhat unusual. They might miss some limbs. They might have some weird sickness, and so people really have been keeping their distance from the village of Gelb. So what you're asked from the regent of Freiburg is to get to Gelb and learn something about this Margareta and find out if she's really the terrible witch that rumor has, right? Now, I think I need to mention what the order is. The order is this kind of secret society created by the papacy that collects special hunters like you. And all these hunters are villains from fairy tales that have been reborn after the premise of the game, which is that this child savior saved the world of fairy tales. He got to express one wish, and in expressing it, he listened to the suggestion of an entity called the one that plots in the shadows. So the one that plots in the shadows suggested, yeah, you should redeem all the villains. And that's pretty much what happened. But because the world of fairy tales is not in balance without somebody being the villain, what happened is that the good guys became the broken ones. So in redeeming the villains, the child created a bigger problem, turning all the good people into evil entities somewhat. So the order is run by the Pope, of course, and it's in the interest of the papacy that you put your powers towards solving these problems and trying to rein in the broken ones and see if some of them can be saved or otherwise eliminated. So that's pretty much the premise of the game. So you find yourself on the road to Gelb. I have a question for Garu, and I would like to know from you, in which form are you at the moment, and how are you traveling to Gelb together with your pack of hunters? I think maybe he froze. I think Garu froze. Yeah. Okay. Right. All right. Baba Yaga, you can begin. Tell me how you're traveling towards Gelb, and then as soon as Paul is back, we'll ask him what is he doing.
Well, I was that we are traveling together.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going together. Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm imagining we maybe have a coach and we are traveling with a coach. I don't know how Garu is following us or is with us, but I'm definitely sitting inside the coach, sort of composed with my black cloak, holding my bag of magical ingredients and my ragdoll that I always bring with me, and I'm sort of thinking about how I'm gonna approach like this Margarita that we're gonna visit, and I'm sort of preparing a little bit to use different spells if I need to.
All right. You know that the people of Gelb have been warned of your arrival, but they do not know that you are part of the order. So they just know that somebody's coming from Freiburg because they want to meet Margareta and ask her some questions. So you're kind of expected, and you are also interested in this task because she's a witch like you. So you also want to find out exactly who she is and what is she doing, why the order should be worried about her, if at all, etc. Should we check Messenger just to make sure that Paul is alive, or is it time now for him to do the thing he was saying? Not yet. Okay, so no. technical. I think he's cursing on Messenger. Power failure here. We'll try to hotspot. But phone almost dead. Okay, this doesn't look good. Okay, let's see. Well, we can continue. All right, Trent and Phil. You are on the coach. You're having an argument. Trent, what is the argument about?
The argument is I am wanting to play Stairway to Heaven on my lute is just sort of like a somber song, and James is trying to sleep off a hangover and wants me to stop because it's keeping him awake.
Listen, it's not keeping me awake. It's destroying the last vestiges of my sanity. I need you to just please effing stop with the lute.
Give a little Jimmy Page riff.
I burst the door open and throw up out of the carriage onto whatever the road looks like. Is it?
Awesome.
Yeah.
We don't know if Garu is following. I would assume because he has the power to morph into a human as long as he looks somewhat old or young or defenseless or something that is completely unthreatening, right? So I'm assuming that he's approaching the city in that form, and then he will confirm when he's back. But as you continue your journey, at some point you can see in the middle of the road you can see a couple. It seems to be like an adult and a child. And the adult is dressed with this long coat. It looks like very, not something really sophisticated, not something like James you're used to see in the courts that you visit very often. It looks more like maybe a farmer or something like that. You can also see that his hands are really big, and he waves from the distance, and the child is kind of pulling his coat and talking to him, saying something. Probably their father and son.
Do they have any musical instruments?
It doesn't look like, no.
James falls out of the carriage and then deftly sort of Swordsman rolls up into a stance and jogs half-heartedly toward them, sort of hailing them. Good sirs, thank you for not having any instruments. You seem to be hailing us.
Yeah, but this is the father is talking to you. You, as soon as you get closer, you realize that there's something wrong with his face. I think maybe Paul is back. Oh yeah, he's back. Hello, Paul.
Hi, it's very tentative. I'm using power from my laptop to power my phone to give me a hotspot. So if the power doesn't come back on in the next, I would say 45 minutes, I may be out. But let's keep going to get as much in while I can still.
Okay, let's see what happens. There's gonna be some tension during the game to see if you survive the session. But anyway, Garu, I was explaining to the others that you are on the coach. You're approaching the city, and there's a couple of people that are waving at you on the road, but I just wanted to make sure with you, because Garu has the ability to morph into a human if you check your character sheet, as long as he appears somewhat defenseless. So are you in that form, or are you actually in a wolf form?
Well, I don't want to draw unnecessary attention to myself, and at this point, I feel that there's no sense in my. I don't really need to use any of my powers, so I'm going to enter the village in human form.
Okay, then you need to describe which one this form is, using at least one of these words: old, helpless, or weak.
So I'm trying to avoid old because it strikes too close to home, and so I will definitely go for weak. Because I feel that I'm so strong that I can sort of present weakness publicly and therefore surprise them with my amazing strength and power if need be. So I limp along. My name is Sebastian. I'm an old miller. That's not old. Sorry, not an old miller. A young miller that has a limp and doesn't look particularly muscular. And I have a mop of hair and a slight mustache, a little thin mustache.
All right. So James was approaching the people waving at you, and I was saying that the older man, it's maybe someone in his 40s. His face looks wrong. There's something wrong with it. I think in English it would be pockmarked. Is that a word?
Yeah.
And he has really big hands, and you can see that he might be a farmer or something like that from the way he's dressed. And the other person is a child, and he's kind of hiding behind the leg, and you understand it's probably his son. There's something that you, Garu, immediately perceive, and it's a terrible smell that comes from the child. And the others that are closer, because you are limping behind the coach, maybe you're a bit farther away. The others that are closer can see that the child doesn't have a normal nose. He has a kind of a hole instead of his nose. And there is this kind of big infection that runs from the nose to the rest of his face. And you can feel, Garu, that the smell is this really kind of sour smell that comes from this wound. But the child doesn't seem like he's suffering. It seems like it's a condition. It's just that it's really disturbing for you.
One characteristic I failed to mention in my description is that the smell of rot is like hot pokers to me. That I really, really am very disturbed by the smell of rotting flesh or decomposing flesh. And I imagine that there's a level of decomposition here that's making me feel very, very uncomfortable. And it's actually making it difficult for me to maintain my weakened form as Sebastian the Miller, because it's drawing out my wolfish instinct. So something is definitely wrong with this child, whether it's a disease or he's undead or something. But I'm definitely sensing that there's a big problem with this kid.
Yeah, that you would imagine that it might be some kind of bacteria that is infecting his face or something like that. But as I mentioned, like, they both seem pretty happy to see you. They don't seem particularly afflicted by their condition at the moment. And the older man presents himself as a Henrik, and then he points at the child, and he says that this is my child, this is Klaus. We were waiting for you. We've been told that you will visit the city to meet with Margareta, and then you've been sent by the authorities in Freiburg. And is that man with you, or is he just visiting the city because of his disability? And then he points at you, Garu. You're a bit farther away.
He is a friend of mine.
I see. I meant no disrespect. Anyway, we are really happy that you're here, and if you allow us, we'll walk with you to the city of Gelb.
You can certainly lead the horses. Thank you very much, Henrik. Appreciate it. How much further is it to Gelb?
He points over a hill and he says, well, maybe it's just like 1 kilometer or something like that. I don't know. That would be 0.8 miles, I think, or something like that. I'm not great at on-the-fly conversions. But.
'Tis a far walk. I do apologize. I find myself also afflicted this morning, so I will return to my carriage, but you're welcome to walk.
James, while you are saying this and you're returning to your carriage, you have the feeling that there's something moving in the foliage that is nearby the road the couch is in, like if somebody was kind of looking at you from the forest. Mm-hmm. You have this feeling, you see something moving, but you haven't been able to identify exactly what. It could be an animal, it could be anything else.
Got it.
Do you go back to your carriage? Do you keep an eye on it? What do you want to do?
The moment I notice it, like, my hangover recedes into the background, and I think I will consult with Baba Yaga to see if it's a supernatural threat or if it's just a typical beast.
I was going to ask, from the carriage, am I perking up? Am I feeling something like magical that could be around?
No, you don't feel any magic in the air at the moment. But you see a very disgusting child that is just on the road. and it's apparently walking with you now. So I don't know if you want to do anything with it, because he seems to have noticed you, and he seems that he wants to come closer and ask you something. Do you do anything?
I don't like children, so no. I'm kind of like receding into the carriage and sort of wrapping myself in my cloak and pretending this child does not exist. But if James comes up to the carriage and asks me if I have heard, like if I felt anything, I say, no, whatever is in the woods is not magical. It's probably some animal or some person.
Okay. Well, while James is kind of asking you this question, you can hear from the side of the coach somebody that is beating with their hand like, hey, are you a child? Are you coming to Gelb?
Charles, Klaus, there's none in here for you.
Oh, okay. I thought that I saw something, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
It's a pile of blankets, I'm afraid. It's I get cold.
Okay. So, James, Baba Yaga is under the impression that there's no magic involved here.
Okay, I will keep an eye on it.
Okay.
I will stare out the window.
All right.
Who's driving the coach?
That's a very good question. I don't know who's driving the coach.
It is a magical coach.
Magically driving itself, I think, until now. But now you probably need to dissimulate that.
Well, I would assume that I can probably lead a magical coach, but perhaps I would create the illusion that somebody is actually driving the coach.
Yeah,
I would go with that, because I believe magic is kind of frowned upon and generally set on fire.
I think that for how, we can assume that until now you've just been using your resources as you so fit, but from now on, if you do use magic, you are going to have to use resources. So I don't know if you want to use them to create just this illusion while you could have, for example, the Pied Piper driving the thing. Because it's just more...
You know what? As we get closer and I see that there are humans, I may ask the Pied Piper if he minds stepping up so that, we don't give any impressions of being magical right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Happy to do
that. Paul, just so you can catch up, I don't know what's the situation. Are you on the phone now?
Yeah, I've had to come. For some reason, the hotspot was giving me trouble with my computer, so I'm now right on the phone.
Okay, well, this seems to work, so let's see how long we can do it this way. But what I was saying is that one thing that James noticed is that there's some movement in the foliage, and he's keeping an eye on it. Apparently, there's nothing magic involved. Baba Yaga's being consulted on the matter. But you definitely know, being the wolf, you definitely know that there's somebody that is trying to spy on you from the foliage.
I will start playing Private Eyes, They're Watching You by Hall & Oates.
All right. So I'm not sure what's happening right now, but while we find out, I think that the carriage proceeds, and sorry, James, you were speaking?
No, just agreeing. Go on.
Okay. No, Paul is...
The broken ones have gotten...
Yeah, I got that in, yeah. The carriage proceeds, and as you approach the city of Gelb, you kind of start to see the first houses, and it doesn't seem there's been a great development plan to the city of Gelb, in a way that the houses seem built of whatever material people could find. There's no architect involved here at all, and they kind of stack on each other. Some are shacks, some kind of look like houses, but they're made with very poor material. And in a way, it's quite organic. It's a quite organic village compared to some bigger cities that you visited previously. Except for one house that is taller than all the others and seems to be in the center of Gelb. And Baba Yaga, you can see immediately that the house has been built with the aid of some magic, because it looks like a fairy tale house. The colors of the materials, of the tiles, of the walls, it looks almost like if it was made of candy or something. So it's like, compared to the grayness and the brown and the mud all around it, it looks very special. I don't know if Paul is back, but we can try. Paul is back with another phone. It's a technological challenge.
So when I see the house and it's it looks almost like made of candy, I think to myself, oh, how unoriginal. And then do we get in front of it?
No. It's very far away. I think you approach the entrance of the city much earlier than getting there, because it seems to be like just in the center. I think, Paul, I'm gonna mute you until you figure out your technical issues. Mm-hmm. As you approach the town, you also realize that the people on the street, as you were warned about, they all seem to have some kind of ailment. Is that the right word? Some of them seem to miss a limb. Some of them are little people. Some of them are hiding their face with some scarves. Some of them are carried by others on little wooden carriages. Each inhabitant of this place seemed to be what normal people would call a freak. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Do I get the sense that they came here like that, or is it some form of modification that is imposed by the use of magic in some way? Not them using magic, but someone else using magic around them, and those are the consequences.
They seem pretty in good spirit for what you can see. So it doesn't seem they've been forced into this condition. They seem that, like, your impression is that they came to this town because it's a welcoming place for people like this.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The Eric and his son, they accompany you until the main square of Gelb. The big house that you saw is maybe 100 meters away. I don't know how many foot that is. So
meters are good.
Meters are good. You can see that, well, there is a little crowd that is gathering. They're watching one of the inhabitants that is kind of dancing around, and they're clapping. Some of them are making fun at him, like throwing little rocks, but it's not with ill intent. It's more like to make fun of him. As your carriage stops, Henrik tells you that it's almost time for Margareta to come out and give her medicine to the people of Gelb. So that's why people are gathering here. And if you were looking to learn what she does here, this is a very good place to start, because you will see her very soon, and you will see what is her contribution to this place.
Yeah, James's eyes light up at the mention of medicine. He says, "Does she give it to anyone that needs it?" And then he kind of like turns a bit green.
Okay, well, Henrik looks at you, and he has a bit of a weird face. It's like, "Are you healed, sir? You look in a very good health to my eyes."
I pull out my arm, which has a hook on it, and I take the hook off, and I say, "It's not unpainful."
Oh, I see. Well, I'm sure that I can intercede with Margareta, and she will probably be able to prepare some kind of poultry for you to apply on your wound. How did it happen? If you care to share.
I don't. And I get very uptight and just in his face.
Oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean any offense. And then you can see he kind of retracts a bit. And then he tells the child, hey, go play with someone else.
Sorry. I snapped. That's not very high society of me, but...
No, I understand. Like, we got asked this kind of questions all the time. And I know that it can be a bit... unpleasant, so the fault is mine.
Indeed, but we're here now. Would you care for some wine? And I sort of reach back into the carriage to find whatever dregs are left of the bottle.
Sure, I cannot say no to such a kind offer. We don't get, for sure, the wine that you are used to drink, sir. I would be very glad to wet my lips.
We'll be in the moment, and we'll find our own medicine until Margareta assuages us.
All right.
Can I ask you, like, what's the general mood? Like, are people milling around? Are they nervous? Are they happy? Are they excited?
They're talking with each other, and it seems like generally it's a very good mood. Like the day is a bit cloudy, but there's not there are no. I mean, it doesn't look like a gloomy place in general. People seem poor, and people seem afflicted by some kind of ailment. Each one of them has a different one, but the mood is good. They seem pretty happy, to be honest. And you are kind of attracted by what's going on, like the person that they are looking at that is dancing. And as you approach, you can see this person. Actually, it's the only one that doesn't strike you as having any kind of physical disability. He looks like it's a good-looking guy, maybe in his 40s, very thin. Is poorly dressed, but somewhat kind of good-looking and handsome. His hair are a bit. What's the contrary of combed? Uncombed? Messy, all right? Yeah. So his hair are a bit messy, but he's whirling around and he's kind of blabbing about something like, this is not the only universe. Like, I'm here now, but I could be somewhere else tomorrow. Not in this place, in another place, in another time. And then he swings around, the kids are laughing at him, and then he says something along those lines again. There's many of us, many of me, in different places, in different times, and I can prove it. And then he's laughing and then swirling around, like clearly has some kind of mental issue. Or at least, well, he's talking about something you don't understand at the very least.
So is this the Pied Piper that goes up to him, or have we all?
I think the Pied Piper noticed him first because of the kind of dancing moves, so that I guess he's a bit attracted to. But you all notice him because the crowd is kind of looking at him and commenting on him, and the kids are throwing stuff at him, but just for fun.
Okay, and so we're out of the carriage now? Do we dismount?
Well, if you decide to be out, then you're out, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we've arrived where we want to be. So it would make sense that we get out. I definitely keep my cloak on because I don't want to attract that much attention. And I don't really want, like, all of the adults over here asking me if I'm okay because I'm a child, because that would get me in a very bad mood. And when I get in a bad mood, bad things happen. And so I try to keep my own, maybe stay behind James and the Pied Piper, and sort of like keep on my own as we descend, as we dismount and go among the crowd.
Is the dancer lucid, or is he just like off on his own trip?
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
Like, does he recognize that he's like people are talking to him, or is he completely?
No, he's like he doesn't care.
He doesn't. So he doesn't even understand that people are talking to him.
Well, maybe he understands, but like he's having a trip and pretty happy about it.
Well, I'll try and I'll ask, dancer, is there any tune that I can play?
Oh yeah, music can open doors to other places. Please. And then he makes like a bow and he seems to engage with you.
Okay. And does he have any requests?
Well, do you know that song that goes da 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 da? You have no idea what he's talking about.
I say absolutely, and start playing something that like one of my favorites.
Okay. So now maybe it's a good time to look at your character sheet, because you have a couple of skills that are interesting here.
Mm-hmm.
One is soul music. So when you play your pipe, you can spend 1 soma, which is this resource that every character has, and you can use it to activate some of the gifts, or also to get successes when you need to do a check. And you can basically impart this emotional state on people that are seeing that performance. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if there's a specific emotional state that you want to apply here. Or you can bewitch animals, but it's not very useful in this specific situation.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing you can do is the power of music, but it's a darker use of your power, because you can basically inflict pain using your music, which might be not appropriate here, but I don't know what you want to do. Otherwise, you can just simply play a tune. And go along with whatever he's saying.
Yeah, that's the latter. So it's sort of like having a revolver out and cocked, right? Only I'm riffing on my flute and like trying to show off as much as possible just how good I am.
Yeah. Okay. He clearly doesn't understand that you're playing something completely different, and he's like, yeah, that's it, da 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 da. Da 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 la. She's always saying that music might. What was she saying? And then you don't know what is he talking about. But he seems to enjoy what you're doing, and the kids are clapping, and everybody seems to be having a good time. Whatever you're playing, it's kind of pleasant, and people are liking it. He's saying he comes close, and Baba Yaga, are you out of the carriage now?
Yeah. I'm just right behind. I'm not dancing, I would say. I am like keeping myself very tight there, but definitely I am just behind the circle that is dancing.
Okay, so he kind of crouches, and then he points at you. He's like, "This is a new kid. I never saw this kid. Hey, have you heard of the girl that travels in time?" And then the kids around you are pointing at him and saying, he's always talking about that. Like, he's stupid. Don't listen to him. Like, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's actually interesting. Why don't you tell me more?
Because I don't know more. And then he starts swinging around again, and it's like, play it again. Da, 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 da. Now he's also going, like it's not the song he was asking for before.
Yeah, I do not start dancing, but I make a note that this could be something that I've heard, or that I want to investigate later, like a girl that travels in time.
So the kid that accompanied you with the coach, he comes behind you, and then he's pulling your sleeve. Is this a sleeve?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. He's pulling your sleeve, and it's like, I knew that you were on the carriage. Why you didn't come out?
So I turn. I take the sleeve out of his hands, and I sort of like bring my rag doll up and put it between this kid and me, and I'm like, because I don't like you, and my doll will not protect me. Don't touch me.
Well, he seems immediately hurt when you say, I don't like you. And then he's asking, is it because of my nose? My dad says that normal people don't like my nose.
Oh, I'm a little touched by that. I was like, no, I didn't even notice your nose. It's because you are too close. Give me my space.
Okay. I will just take a step back. Who is she? And then he's pointing at your ragdoll.
Oh, this is Anna. Anna comes with me everywhere. And, I love Anna because she does not talk, but she's a very good presence.
Oh, I see. Does she do anything special?
She does, but only in certain situations. She does not. Usually she does not. Usually she's very calm and quiet, like all good children should be. But on occasion, she's very animated and she's very fun.
Okay, well, she seems like a good friend. I wish I had a friend like that too. And then he becomes immediately a little bit sad when he says that. Like, the other kids don't like me because of... But you say you haven't even noticed my nose. I will tell them that they also cannot notice my nose. What do you think?
I think that we can be distant friends, so you can tell them that you're
Well, okay, this is an interesting idea. I will need to think about it. But hey, when he says like that, you can see that the crowd is kind of moving and murmuring. And James, the man that is drinking with you, Henrik, also turns around and says, "Hey, here she comes!" And at the same time, there are some kind of bells on the square that are ringing to indicate that it's midday and it's time for Margareta to come out. And from a little door in the distance, from the house that looks like a fairy tale house, you can see the little door swings open, and there is this very old woman that comes out, has a giant bag on her shoulders and a big hat. And she moves super slowly because you can see that she has some kind of issue with her legs and her arms, and like she's extremely old and looks pretty sick as well. And it takes her maybe 5 minutes to cover that 50 meters or whatever it is, 100 meters to the crowd, but the crowd is waiting for her and they're cheering. I was like, "Hey, Margareta's here! Margareta's here!"
Mm-hmm.
During that time, James is going to slip off his least valuable ring. I have valuable rings, and I picture myself having like 8 rings, one for each of my main fingers. Sorry, I only have one hand, so 6 rings. And I think he slips off his pinky ring and he gives it to Henrik, and he says, "If your son wants a cowl or a scarf, perhaps trade this for a few of them, eh?" And then he goes back to watching the Margareta.
Okay, you see that Henrik, he opens his mouth and is unable to answer anything for maybe 30 seconds, and then he's like, "Oh, this is too much. I cannot accept it."
You dare dishonor me?
No, absolutely. I wouldn't. But I never received such a gift. This is so generous of you.
In high society, we say thank you.
Thank you, James. Is that your name?
You may call me James.
Okay.
And I'm just like, I'm not looking at him. James is not looking at Henrik when he's talking after he does this momentary kindness to sort of even it, because he was listening to the conversation between Baba Yaga and Klaus.
Okay.
Also, I have a giant ring on my hook.
You can see that
a bracelet.
After you gave him the ring, he kind of detaches himself from the crowd, and goes towards Margareta, takes her under his arm to help her, but also goes closer and whispers something to her ear. And then she nods, she looks at him, she nods, and then continues until she arrives in front of the crowd. and you can see that she's trying to keep them at bay because they're all kind of trying to reach out for her and touch her, and said like she was some kind of Indian guru or something.
So do I sense that she is indeed magical?
Yeah, you can see it from a mile away. She's a witch. She's a witch, and the thing is that you can also see that she's like, this is not a facade. She has some kind of sickness to her limbs. You don't know exactly what that could be, but yeah, it has some kind of sickness. You don't know what it is. But well, when the crowd approaches her, she's fishing inside this bag that she has with her, and takes out little vials and potions and powders inside some kind of paper, and she's handing them out. And she calls people by the name. Oh, I remember that. I made this for you, etc. And then Jane says she looks at you. She's saying, "Oh, you are with the group from Freiburg. I hear that there's something I could do for you. Is that correct?"
I hold up my missing hand.
Oh, but that is a very old wound. Does it still hurt?
Daily.
Oh, I see. So we need to do something about it.
Yes, there are strings attached to my hand, and I don't know where my hand is, but they pull all the way to my heart, ma'am.
Let me finish what I'm doing here, and I will find some time to talk with you. I'm sure that we have plenty to talk about. And then when she says that, she's looking at you, Baba Yaga.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There is this kind of you're locking eyes, and there's some kind of understanding there.
All right, so but she's not engaging in a conversation with us for now. She's just gonna do her rounds, and then she'll come talk to us.
Yeah, well, she needs to finish with the crowd first because they are not leaving her alone.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the Pied Piper, you also you could when Klaus, the little kid, came near to you, you could also feel this strong smell that is coming from this thing he has on his nose, and now you don't see him anywhere. But one thing you notice is that the smell is still in the air, somewhat. And you are thinking in the beginning, you think it's him, and then you kind of realize that the kid is not around. But the smell is still somewhere here.
What can Hamlin, my trained mouse, do for me?
Well, you can send him on scouting recognition journeys or things like that. Well, what are you thinking?
I don't know how keen of sense of smell mice have, but we whisper to Hamlin to go find out the source of the smell and report back.
Okay, well, he comes to your shoulder, and then you talk to him. And I think in this case, the best way to give your mouse a chance to shine in a way, it's to use your soul music gift so that he would fully understand what you're asking of him.
Yep.
So yes, you are talking to him like he was a human, but you know that he cannot really understand you.
Mm-hmm.
But he understands your music.
Okay.
Right? So the only thing you need to do to make this work is just spend one of these soma points that your character has. And your character has, let me double check.
5, yep.
You have 5. All right. So you will go back down to 4.
Yep.
And what do you play to make him understand what you want?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was going to play maybe something from One Brown Mouse from Jethro Tull. How about that?
Okay. Well, he seems to enjoy whatever you're playing, and he makes a tiny nod, and you know he understood. And it goes down your sleeve and reaches the ground, and you can see him disappearing among the crowd. And you continue with your song. 1 minute later, he's back. He runs up your trousers, and he's back to your shoulder, and he comes near to your ear, and somewhat is squeaking. You understand it, and he's saying, "Look for the stranger with the green hood."
Okay, I will look for the
And
stranger.
then you look among the crowd, and you see that yes, there is someone with a green hood. Is they're turned. You can see only the shoulders. It could be from the body size, and also a bit of the hair that you can see coming out of the hood. It could be a girl. The hair are blonde and long.
And how far away?
Maybe there's 10 people between you and them.
Okay. Are either James or Baba Yaga closer to her? Are they are both of them within my ability to say something to them?
I think Baba Yaga is trying to get rid of the kid at the moment, and James is perhaps in that conversation about the ring.
Okay.
No, actually, sorry. I think that happened already. I think he's maybe talking with Margareta at the moment.
Okay. Can I do like the cut in to Baba Yaga and like put my hand around her shoulders and say, I've got need to speak with you and try and get rid of the kid?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and then I'll ask her, I'll say there's something with the person in the green hood. Do you sense any magic coming from them? That's where the smell is coming from.
Well,
Well, at
Baba,
first,
yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
no, just like I say, thank you for saving me from that interaction. And
Yeah,
then,
the kid kind of just goes back to his dad or something because he sees that you're busy with something else.
yes, and so I guess I look in the direction pointed by the Pied Piper, and I see the same thing, like that stranger with a green hood, potentially some blonde hair, potentially a girl. So, what else do I see there?
You also start to feel the smell that the same as the kid, and well, now because the kid is being so close to you, you kind of recognize it really well, and there's definitely the same smell coming from the figure, but you're a bit far, and maybe there's like, I don't know, 3-4 people between you and this figure, and she's looking at Margareta somewhat, but you cannot see her face.
Okay. But is she standing still or is she moving?
Yeah, well, you see that she's actually talking with somebody with a very big mane of hair that is kind of whispering something to this person.
Okay. So perhaps we'll go a little bit closer and see if we can hear a little bit more. I'm pretty small, so I'm gonna try to sneak in a little closer.
As soon as you get closer, you don't know exactly what happens, but the person that was talking with her, it's crouching in front of you right now, and the figure with the green hood has disappeared. But what you felt is that there's been a surge of magical power that exploded and disappeared immediately. The moment you were within reach.
Okay.
Like power has been used, that was something really powerful, and
so it's like we crashed some sort of auras as soon as I got into the area of influence.
You don't know if this figure noticed you, and but she's not there anymore. She's just not there.
Okay,
Like
so
in front of you, there is this other character, and you can see this guy now, And
Is he talking to me?
yeah. He's crouching. It's like, hey, little kid, are you lost? And you can see that his eyes are kind of moving around, like he seems a bit insecure or something. And it seems
I'm
like
going to use my listen to my words, since he is actually talking to me, and I want to know, what's going on with this guy? Does he seem like he might have anything I could use against him? Does he seem scared? Does he seem
well, I think that this calls for a position test, yeah?
Okay.
And maybe we can do it. So the way they work is this. This is already, in my opinion, this is an easy test. The opposition levels are divided into 3 levels in Broken Tales. There's easy, medium, and hard. The easy equals 3, the medium equals 5, and the hard equals 7. What you need to do is to reach an amount of successes that it is at least the same as the opposition level. So if this one is an easy check, then you will need to reach 3. But how does it work? If you have a descriptor in your character that fits the situation, you get 3 successes by default, okay? So you would already be able to reach the easy opposition level.
Yeah.
Where's the catch? That reaching the opposition level doesn't guarantee that your check succeeds without any consequence, because just reaching the opposition level gives you an outcome with a consequence. It means that what you want to do happens, but there's also one consequence that might not be so positive for you.
Okay.
If you overcome the opposition level by 1, whatever you describe happens without any consequence. And if you go over by 2, you also get an increment, which is something you can spend to get an extra advantage, or also activate something specific in certain gifts, but this might not be the case. So tell me exactly what you want to, how well do you want to succeed in this action? Because that's the question that is different from most RPGs, because most RPGs first you roll and then you figure out what happens. Here is just how well do you want to succeed here?
I just want to succeed, basically. Let's say that.
Okay.
Perhaps,
so would you accept a consequence here, or do you want to succeed without consequence?
I think that, considering, I don't know what kind of person I have in front of me, but I didn't sense, any immediate danger. So I would say that since it is part of my descriptor, and I'm not sure he expected this, I think it would make sense that I would succeed this, because he doesn't expect any checks on my part. So I would say that it makes sense that I would succeed, like 4, for example. So just exceed the success level by 1.
So the fact that your descriptor says I am very skilled at in reading people already gives you 3 successes. Now, if you want to pass it by 1, we need to decide how do you get that extra success. And now you have 2 options. The first option is that you spend 1 soma, and that is an automatic success. When you spend all the soma, though, you cannot recover them easily. It takes time, or you need to inflict yourself a wound. So that's why you need to be a bit careful how you spend them.
Sure.
The other option is that you roll 1 die, and every number except 1 is a success. But if you get a 1, then the whole thing fails, right?
Okay.
So the whole mechanic is kind of trying to handle the risk, because you are trying to get the best possible result, but you want to try to roll as little dice as possible, because one single 1 makes everything fails, even if you're spending some at the same time, because you can mix and match the 2 things. So in this case, I don't know if you prefer to roll or if you prefer to spend.
Well, it's low stakes, so I'm gonna roll. Also, I think Garuda is back, so if you want to let him back, let him back in. He's
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Paul, you're back.
So
Sorry, I have very little confidence in my very fragile, kind of weird thing that I've jury-rigged here working. So hopefully I can have kind of I don't know, like an expendable roll, because it might all die very soon. But
Okay. I don't know. James, would you like to give him a quick summary of what's going on? Let's see if you paid attention.
Yeah. Margareta is a very old and incredibly powerful magic source of magic. She is at the moment doling out her medicine. James has utilized the fact that he is missing a hand to get an audience with with Margareta later. In addition to making slow moves to be friends with the farmer Henrik and his son Klaus. The Pied Piper has danced with someone outside of standard realities, and then at the moment, Baba Yaga is about to interrogate, we'll say, someone who is acting as a shield between Baba Yaga and a woman in a green cloak. Baba Yaga was moving through the crowds to sort of suss out what was happening, and then there was an explosion of magic, and before she knew what was happening, this man with a huge mane of hair was in front of her, crouching, and they were talking. So
the explosion of magic, just to be precise here, was perceived by Baba Yaga, but no one else saw anything. So it was just the surge of magical energy that she perceived. Garu, at the moment, well, you're still Sebastian. You're probably witnessing the whole scene. One thing you also notice is what the Pied Piper noticed, that the foul smell that was coming from the kid is also coming from someone else, and that's the person that Baba Yaga was trying to reach but disappeared, and now she has this other guy in between.
Okay. All right, and I don't know what the reason is or why the kid's face is decomposed or anything. That hasn't been revealed.
No, nobody even asked. But well, to you it would look like some kind of bacteria in his nose or something, but you don't know.
Right.
I think it would take a doctor to tell you exactly, or maybe they know. But
okay. And the last thing is, where are we? Are we in Freiburg? Or are we we're in Freiburg?
Gelb.
No, we are in Gelb, the village you were trying to reach.
Oh, okay, we're in Gelb. Okay.
So, yeah. So you are in the square. Margareta just came out to hand out her medicine. You met some of the villagers. They seem pretty happy to receive her stuff. It's basically free drugs, I would imagine. So everybody's pretty happy. Okay, so Baba, what are you gonna do?
So,
what is your question?
So, as you explained, I could either spend a summer point to have a success, or I could roll a die and hope it's not a 1, because otherwise it would invalidate the whole result. I think this is pretty low stake to me right now, so I think I'm fine rolling a die, and I have the dice.
I don't know if you want to share. I don't know if you guys can share the screen, but otherwise we will just trust that you roll one die and tell us what happens.
Give me 1 second. Let me.
I don't think it lets you, as a guest, lets you share the screen. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Well, then I will let you know what happens. I have 1 die.
Yeah, 1d6.
Okay, and it is a 4. I can take a picture and send it to you if you want.
I don't care. But that means success. Basically, any number except 1 is a success. We noticed that some players, especially when you roll more dice, some players, for some reason, they want to add them together. It's not written anywhere in the rules, but it's just a normal thing that people want to do. But it doesn't matter, because anything except 1 is a success. Okay. Okay. So you succeed completely without any consequence. One thing that I didn't mention is that the face of this guy is also weird, but in a different way than Henrik. This looks some kind of a bit felon in a way. There's something in his traits that you can see that his eyes have the color of gold, and the shape of the eyes is a bit oblong.
Okay, almost like a cat.
Anyway, yeah. So you get it.
Okay. Okay. So with my success, do I get to ask him a specific question?
Yeah, because your gift, the gift you use says, when you talk to someone, you can ask the storyteller a question about them. The question must be regarding their behavior, such as any vices or desires they might have. You gain 1 extra success in any action where you exploit what you have discovered, so you will be able to hold this success for the future.
Okay, but so do I ask you as the storyteller an information about this character, or do I get to ask the character directly?
No, you ask me, and I will reveal.
Okay, so if it's possible, like to understand how he moved so close to me, and like perhaps what his relationship is, or a little bit what I guess, how he moves so close to me, and perhaps why he looks like a cat.
Now you need to pick one.
One question. Okay.
So pick wisely.
Yes, but so does it? So let me rephrase. So this is any vices or desires. Could I also ask about the relationship with the other person?
Yeah, you can. One thing, like, I don't think it's worth for you to ask how he was so close to you, because you were close to him, and he just turned around. He just turned around. So
that's one when I went to the door. So perhaps the question I want to ask is, what is his relationship with the girl that disappeared?
Well, what you understand is that he's afraid of this person. He's afraid of this person, and is trying to make sure you wouldn't reach her or something.
Okay. So it's not necessarily antagonistic. Okay.
Not with you at the moment. Like he seems to be very conflicted about what he's doing.
Okay. So I've been determined that he's probably not gonna hurt me. I just talked to him, and I'm like, where did the girl in the green hood go?
The girl in the green hood? What girl? Like, I don't see anyone around here.
I look at him and I'm like, despite my appearance, I can assure that I am not a little kid that you need to belittle. There was somebody and they just disappeared. Do you happen to know what happened to them?
Well, he's patting your head, but he seems a bit unsure about what you just said. It's like, is she serious or not? Like, he's patting your head like, little kid, I think your mom is looking for you. Like, maybe you should just go. Don't worry about it. Like, hey, look, Margareta is giving out medicines. Like, didn't you come here for your medicine?
I did not, actually. We've come here to investigate, and I find that green hooded person much more interesting than anything that is going on in that regard. So if you don't mind, I'll keep watching. And I sort of like.
Of course. And then he's laughing, but it's a very nervous laughter.
Okay, so I keep on.
He's clearly bad at this. Like, you can see that he's bad at it.
Okay, so I keep an eye on him. I sort of like try to at least keep an eye on where he is. He has a big mop of hair, so I should be able to see.
Yeah. It's like he has this kind of red hair that are all fuzzy. Garu, the smell that you could smell from the crowd is not here anymore now. So there was a smell. There isn't a smell. The only one that you can feel that is similar is the one from the kid you met in the beginning, and he's just running around like he's close to his dad. But it's a different one. Like, there were two at some point.
So I can still smell the kid, but I can't smell.
You can still smell the kid, but not whoever the other person was.
Okay. All right. And,
Yeah.
Can I? So that means that because now one thing is, is my sense of smell as acute when I'm in human form, or do I have to become my werewolf self in order to use my sense of smell?
No, you have the same sense of smell. Now I might be saying something wrong here, but if I'm not correct, if I'm not wrong, you are the like your normal sense of smell is the same. Um, you have a special gift that you can memorize the smell of someone and never lose it.
That's right.
If you use that, you need to turn back into your wolf form.
Okay,
But-
so
Yeah.
very quickly, I'm just going to switch from my computer to my phone because my computer now is dead, and I will go over to my phone. It'll take literally 30 seconds. 1 second.
Okay. James, Margareta is done with handing out medicines, so goes back. We've been trying all devices today, Paul.
Good. Now, I don't know if it's SteamYard, but I've had problem with the communication, but it seems to be better now. So, any theories as to why I'm not smelling that smell anymore, fellow members of the order?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. I don't know if you were there when that happened.
So are you getting closer to each other because your characters cannot mentally speak?
Oh, I just wanted to let him know what happened when he was not here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, if you come up to me, I'll tell you, I guess. So. I don't think that's getting better.
It's incredible that we can go to Mars but not have a normal call. It's
All right.
Right.
When he's back, if he wants to know why the smell disappears, I'll just tell him to come up to my character. But
Okay,
go ahead,
okay.
James.
James, sorry, I wanted to say that. Well, Margareta is pretty much done with distributing the medicines, and she approaches you, and she says, "I know who and your friends are.
Oh, really?
I'm not stupid, young man.
I can see that, certainly. You are very kind to these people, too. But more importantly, do you have anything for my wound?
I will make you something, and if you will still be here tomorrow, I will give it to you. But I cannot make it on the fly. And let me see." And then she's asking you to take away your hook.
That's could we go somewhere? Could we go back to your cottage, perhaps? I would happily escort you and my friends too, or you could even ride in our carriage. Because like I'm a high society guy, so clearly carriages are going to impress Bobby.
Well, we can be on our way, and I'm able to walk. Let's walk there.
Certainly, let me gather my compatriots, please. They too.
It's close enough that it's really not worth to go with the carriage. So
Understood. I will leave the carriage, but my friends, and I sort of like raise my hand, and I imagine myself as somewhat tall. So maybe I whistle, whatever the like equivalent of like "come hither" is. Let me introduce my good boss, Baba Yaga, and my traveling companion, the Pied Piper. And I point at each of them in turn.
I do a little bow with my head.
Trent, what mask are you wearing? I'm curious.
I'm wearing the happy, sad comedy tragedy mask right now.
Got it. 50-50. I don't know what his face actually looks like, I whisper to Margareta. But if you don't mind, we can pay for any food that you give us, and I'm happy to stay overnight if it means that I can get something to help my ailment.
don't worry, you don't need to pay. This stuff I get at the bog nearby, and it's free. But yeah, you're here to do what exactly?
Well, I am here to talk to you. I am very interested in meeting a fellow magic user, and I'm interested in what your work is here.
My work is what you saw there in the square. I built this village around my house to help all the people that normal society would reject. So we started with just a few houses, and then more and more came when the word got out that there was a place where even the freaks would be welcome. And since then, more and more people have joined. What I want to do is just help them process their pain, and if I can do something to make it easier, I'll do it. That's the only thing that happens here. And I don't know who's worried about my work here, but there's nothing you need to fear.
Have you noticed in the crowd a girl with a green hood or a man that looks like a cat?
Well, there's people that come and go from the village often. I don't know all of them personally. What I can tell you, though, is that I am afraid for my life because did you know Joanne of Skill Touch? And when she says that, well, the name rings a bell because it's a famous witch. And that lives also in Germany to the east of the Black Forest.
So I say, yes. Why would she come into the picture?
She was found dead a few days ago. And, there's two more of us here, Helga in the north and Emma in the south. And I think somebody is out to kill us.
Okay. And when you were giving out your medicine to your people, did you notice a sudden surge of magic, or did you not? Because I did. Yes, I did, but I couldn't figure out what was that about. I thought that it had something to do with you. No, it had something to do with this green hooded figure who disappeared. And that's when the surge of magic occurred. And I am now a little worried about that. And I think there might be something to your worries.
You might be right, young one. And then she corrects herself. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
It happens a lot.
Well, as you know, magic can be used for good, or it can be used for bad. And I don't know why somebody would kill Johan, but it must have something to do with some of the knowledge we share. And then she's pointing at you, and like in a way that, okay, you also kind of know of magic secrets, you know of occult practices and things that somebody might be interested in.
Yeah, it could be also to get her power. I mean, I have eliminated a few magical beings myself in the past, and I know that can be very powerful. So we should be on the lookout, because this is not
Margareta! While you're finishing your sentence, you can hear from outside somebody's screaming the name of the witch. And at the door, this character that spoke to you with these felon traits, Baba Yaga, he comes to the door and he's panting, he's sweaty, and he's banging on the door and is like, Dam has kidnapped the little Klaus. We need to do something now. And that Dom is actually, I think I didn't mention the name, but it's the guy that was dancing in the beginning. Please, tell them to do something. I think he's taking him to the swamp. We need to stop him. We don't know what he's gonna do. Like he's not right in the head.
How does she?
Yeah, Margareta stops her conversation and then she listens to the man. You can see that her eyes are getting like she's kind of looking very carefully at him. It's like, go with this man and make sure that nothing happens to Klaus. I will make sure that, James, I will have your cure ready when you're back, and then we will continue our conversation.
Before we go, there's something we should know about Klaus?
Klaus is just a little kid with an infection that took away his nose. There's nothing special about him that I know, but this guy, this Dom, he's been here in the village for maybe a week or something like that, and he strikes me as very odd, for lack of a better term, and considering the context. But there is something about him. He's always talking about other worlds and things like that. I'm not sure anyone else in the village has the same kind of problem he has. He might not be completely here with us, and he might think that this is a game. So I don't know what he's planning to do to the little Klaus, but please help the village.
I look at Piper, the Pied Piper, and I say, "Do you care about that man?"
About that man?
Yeah, about Dom.
Yeah, is that his name? Or is it D-O-M, like Dominic?
No, it is D-U-M-M.
Dumb.
Dumb. Okay. Dumb.
I saw him as a dance partner for you, but if that was just for sport, then I think I'll have my sport.
So I got a question too, mechanically, sort of out of game here. So if I have an activator that shows off your act to the fullest extent, a show that cannot be ignored, is that something that you could use to arrest? So if he's running away, right? Could I play something that would be specifically targeted at him to stop, or is that too specific?
Sorry, where are you reading? I'm not sure.
So this is under the power of music.
Yeah,
the dark part. So you can make a sound that can be heard even from a great distance, but is it just a sound, not a command?
I think that this would basically be heard by everyone. So it's not, you can't home in into a specific character. Okay. It's not a missile,
Yeah. Magic missile. Yeah. So then I guess I'll hold that in bay then, and say let's pursue.
All right. I'm invoking my dark ego, which is I will have my satisfaction. Dumb is now my opponent, and there is no escape for him.
Okay, you're doing it in. Okay, yeah. Because sorry, for a moment I thought you were Garuda, because he becomes like this giant wolf, and I was thinking, okay, are you doing it in the cottage? But no, okay.
So
I would recommend, because it lasts only for one scene. I think that let's use it when you get to the swamp, because that makes more sense maybe.
All right, excellent. Game is afoot, and I'm charging.
Yeah. All right, so this guy that introduced himself as Lowe, he's called Lowe, L-O-W-E, says, I know where he's gone. I know where the swamp is. Follow me. Like this way. Mm-hmm. So he runs ahead, and then after a while he turns around and he makes signs like, please follow me.
I think so. James is going to say, before he goes out, he's like, you two stay here. I'll have my way with Dumb.
So you're suggesting that they stay in the village?
Yeah, I love splitting the party because I play D&D all the time. And And also, James is concerned for Margarita's safety if this green cloaked witch is about.
Okay. What are the other two doing?
That's his suggestion, so it's up to you.
What's the move like? So if we're running out of the house towards the swamp, has the village like dispersed, or like what's everybody doing in this town square?
I don't think they're 100% aware of everything that is happening. Some of them seem agitated. Some of them seem like you left them. I think the news hasn't 100% spread yet, but you can see that the father of this Henrik is also approaching the cottage and is like, please do something. He took my kid. He's a good kid. He's a good kid, I promise.
I'll say to James, I wouldn't miss this for the world, and continue to probably trailing him. I would imagine I start playing "Raining Blood" by Slayer.
Nice.
All right. I think I'm gonna tag along too. I won't steal your thunder, James, but I think it would be good to have some magic support in case we get in trouble.
You can have my thunder as long as Klaus makes it. And on we go.
All right. You start following this guy, this low, and then you realize about 10 minutes later that he's leading you away. Like it's not the right direction. He's leading you somewhere else. So you have the feeling that he's taking you out of town from the direction where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's this way. I know this shortcut, like through the forest here. Follow me.
All right, I'm gonna stop him, and I'm gonna ask him a very pointed question using my listen to my words and say, should I roll first? But it's like, it's going to be a question of like, are you lying to us, or are you actually taking us to the place where we have to go?
Well, you feel that like he gets angry when you're questioning him. It's like, it's this way, I promise.
I keep
I'm an adult, you're a kid. Follow me.
I stop and I ask that question again, and this time with a little stronger voice.
Okay, because if you use the gift, you ask the question to me, but now you're asking the question to him, right?
Yeah. So I'm
your character, so you're not spending some or nothing. You're just asking the question.
Actually, I'm gonna also ask to you whether he's lying or we should trust him. So I am going to use what is the difficulty? Okay,
I mean, he's very easy to read, and now he's agitated. Okay. So when this happens, I have the possibility to raise or lower his opposition level by 1. And in this case, I think he goes to the minimum, so it will be 2. Because you have the descriptor, you already have 3 base successes, you already get a success. So what was the question? Sorry, tell me again.
Is he lying and leading us astray?
Yeah, he's clearly lying. He's clear, but I mean, you can see that he's agitated and he's also scared.
Okay, so I stop and I say, James, Pied Piper, he's leading us away. He is scared.
He becomes a bit hysteric. It's like, it's this way, I promise.
I think we need to go back, but like, do you want to deal with this person first? But somebody needs to run back right now. Maybe James, do you want to go?
Yes.
No, please, it's not that way. It's this way, please. Like he starts to be very emotional about it.
Okay, I'm trying to cast a spell, and I'm gonna use what I have in my hands, which is the way it should work. And so I'm going to use my lucky elderberry branch to make it grow and root into the ground and hold this person captive so that he cannot move or attack us in any way.
Okay, so let me check how the gift works because I don't remember. Sure.
So it says that I have to pay a cost of 1 to 3 soma decided by the storyteller to activate my spell for the duration of the scene.
Yeah.
And I cannot kill people, but I can inflict wounds. I don't want to inflict wounds in this case. I just want to restrain this person so that we can go back. I mean, James has already gone, but the 2 of us can leave right now.
Right. So I think this is a very easy spell for you to make, even because he's not even resisting really.
Yeah.
So you envelop him in this giant
Elderberry branch.
elderberry branch that is kind of keep him in still. And as soon as that happens, he starts to cry and he's like, please let me go. I'm just following the orders. Please, I'm following our orders. Please let me go.
And I look at him and I was like, you're just a human pawn. I don't have that.
Yes, I am. Please let me go. Like, he doesn't even try to defend himself.
If I use soul music, do I have to spend soma or not? If I wanted to like do like a calming music to let him relax.
Yeah, for the special melody, yes, you have to spend soma.
Maybe not worth it. I've only got 4 soma.
No, but you can slap him in the face and see if it works.
Yeah, I'll do that. The direct route.
Just slide a calm mask over his face.
But I mean, like he calms himself after a while. Like you can see, he's a broken man. Like he's not a threat in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think while we did this, I think James already, got his head start. So
Yeah, I'm dashing back to Margareta, right?
Okay, so you're going back to the village then?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask this guy like probe what he knows about him being a pawn when he says yes I know?
Yeah, you could try. I think that would be for you because you don't have any specific ability that allows you to interrogate someone. Then it would be a position check, and if I'm correct, you don't have any descriptor that could help here.
Not really, no.
Because they're mostly musical, and then you have some acrobatic ones. So you will start with only one base success. And in this case, now he's calming a bit, he's regaining a bit of dignity. It would still be an easy check, but you need to reach 3 for an outcome with a consequence, or 4 for an outcome without consequences, or 5 if you want also the increment. But in this case, I think 4 would be sufficient to not have any kind of consequence. So would you try to ask and get a consequence, or I'm not sure if it's clear how this works.
Yeah, can I ask, I mean, Baba Yaga's got better skills in this, right? So could I ask her? Because I'm thinking, so I've got the send a message. So what I'd like to be able to do is see if we can extract any information and then send that to James, even though he's fleeing or running away from us.
I mean, I've already used the skill, and what I've gathered is that he's very afraid that he was lying and that somebody probably forced him to do this. And I don't know if I can get anything more, because I can't talk directly to the character and ask him.
Right.
So.
It's only a 50%. So then if I roll 1d6, there's no, like, it's just basically the flat result.
So you would start from 1 success. You need at least a 3. Right. So the question now is that how do we fill that gap? Okay. Yeah. You have 2 options. You spend soma, and every point that you spend removes one of these points. Or you roll dice. You can also mix and match. So you can spend 1 soma and then roll 1 die.
Okay.
But if you get a 1 on the die, then everything fails, even if you spend soma. So you are wasting your sources.
Right. I don't want to tap into the soma because I feel like I'm going to need to use that later. And it's only a 50% chance, so I'll pass. I'll just mull. So
you are not asking him anything, right?
No, I'm wishing that I knew how to. I'm reserving my abilities.
Okay. Well, what he does is that, I promise you, the swamp is in that direction, and then he points in the opposite direction where he's been leading you. Go there, please. It's not this way, it's that way.
So if I use the power of music to communicate, does that cost anything? If I play a gentle melody and the wind itself obeys me, carrying my message to whomever I wish, wherever they are, does that cost anything or not?
Yeah, every time you use a gift, you need to. Well, it's written when you play your pipe, you can spend 1 soma to sing a special melody. So yeah, if it is a special melody that does one of the 2 things,
Okay, then you got to spend a soma.
For bewitching, yeah, you have to spend soma.
What do you think, Baba Yaga? Is it worth it to send James in the right direction, or do you think it's better to hold?
I think James should probably go to the village.
Well, James, you are back to the village because you rush there, and you find the situation pretty unchanged, except that now the people in the square seems to be a lot more sparse than before. The father of the kid seems to be organizing some men.
Good.
You suspect that they're trying. You can see that they have some pitchforks and torches and stuff there. Probably organizing to go to the swamp.
Excellent. I hail my friend Henrik. I say, yes, into the swamp. Listen on the wind. Maybe you'll find something. I'm going to check in with Margareta.
Okay, well, the old woman is in the cottage, and then she's working on her concoctions, and she raises her eyes and sees you at the door, and it's like, what happened? Are you back already? Is Klaus safe?
Klaus is in the hands of my compatriots, my friends. I'm here to make sure that nothing bad happens to you.
Oh, young man, I am a witch after all. I know how to take care of myself. Like, are you sure that the men don't need you out there?
I'm confident in my compatriots.
Very well, then. Sit at the table.
Thank you.
Tell me a story. Tell me a story, James.
I start regaling her with tales of courtly intrigue and debauchery, and we'll cut back to Baba Yaga and the Pipe Piper.
She seems amused by what you are telling. Guys, can I ask you a 2 minutes break? I'll be back.
Yeah, for sure.
2 minutes, so I'll just put. Actually, I made a banner 5 minutes break, but I'll try to make it in 2 minutes. I'll be back.
All good.
Sorry, could you find out if Paul is coming back? That's.
We'll try. We'll see what splitting the party gets us, eh?
Yeah.
And like, I'd much rather protect Margareta at this point than.
Yeah, and
Or we'll commit to the swamp, especially given the system. It seems designed much more for like narration and than balanced combat. So
it's an interesting twist to stay in the town. Are you gonna? Well, let me look at how Paul is doing.
Mm-hmm. He says, what's he say? Garbold estimated to come back in half an hour, which was at 11:30, so he might be back shortly. And then he says, I'll jump in for the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will probably make sense that he came with us then.
Yeah, I would say so.
All right. I'm going to grab a drink and I'll be right back.
Excellent.
Okay, you're back. So I guess that they also have the other thing in the.
Well, that was at 11:30, so. Yeah, we were saying that if Paul jumps back in, it would make sense that he is with me and Trent.
Okay, we are not that far from the end, so I don't know at this point it makes much sense, but you can try. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that it happened at the wrong time. But
Some things you cannot predict, and we'll play it again with him, or maybe with a different scenario.
right, yeah. Of course, if you want to join our Discord, I think there's a bunch of people that are trying to organize games. Of course, the limit at the moment is that well, there are no rules. You can play quite a lot of things with the quick start material in a way that if you understand how this works, you can come up with scenarios pretty easily, and there's enough material there to play already, but you need to kind of do some work, and that's what, like, when the book will be ready, everything will be done for you. But yeah,
So
some people, sorry,
the Ishka is the scenario in the quick start. What is this one called?
I'll tell you when we're done.
Okay. And this one is not available online.
No. Well, we have it written in Italian, so if you want to play with someone else, I can give you that one. But we haven't.
You can translate it on the fly and then play it.
We haven't fully translated it, and it's a bit still kind of just notes. We should write it properly, but I mean, we have a year of work in front of us, so it's gonna take a while. But if you understand how this works, basically all the rules you need to really play are already in the quick start. It's just that, of course, you just have these hunters that are there instead of the, I don't know how many we unlocked now. It's 20.
So many. It's awesome.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
Because some people in Discord even try to do their own hunters, and it kind of works, but the balancing is the hardest part, and I think a lot of people don't understand how to do that yet. So it's very easy to break the game if you don't do that properly. But anyway, that's another. Yeah. Let's continue. Right. So where were we? James, with you wanted to cut to Baba Yaga and the Pied Piper.
Right.
Guys, what are you doing when Love is pointing to another direction for the?
I would say we would follow that, because that seemed more fruitful. All
right, so you decide that maybe the guy at this point is kind of like an open book, and you're right, because after a few minutes you start to see the vegetation changing, and very soon you find yourself in mud, and at the same time, from another direction, you can hear some men shouting, and James, James, you are talking with the witch, right?
Yep.
You're not going with the men. So, and some men shouting, so they're coming from the village, and you are in the right place. Trent, your character can hear singing from up ahead. Yeah, it's definitely the same guy you were dancing with before.
Is it a different song or a new song that he's dancing to?
Yeah, he's talking about the moon, and he's asking question to someone else, but you don't hear any answer.
And how far away do I think the voice is?
Maybe, I don't know, 50 meters, something like that.
How dense is the trees and the forest?
Well, there are bushes and stuff, so you cannot really see that well, but you in the distance you kind of see the shape of something that looks like a shack or something like that.
Okay. And how many people do we have with us now in this posse?
Well, you don't see them yet, so okay. You can hear some voices.
Oh, so we're following them. They've already taken off.
They're from another. Imagine that they are like, I don't know, 100 meters to your left or something like that.
Okay.
So they are among the trees. You can imagine they are the men from the village that are coming to the.
Okay. So I'll motion to Baba Yaga and say there's a cottage or something straight ahead with voices. I can hear Dom singing. So let's proceed with caution.
Right. So you're still hidden a bit from in the vegetation, but at some point you reach this opening, and when you do, you can see that the swamp has a little mound, I think, where he is dancing over this mound, and he has a body under his arm, and he's winging the body around. And you can see it is Klaus, and he's alive. He's just so afraid that he's not saying a word or screaming or anything. He's just keeping his eyes closed and his teeth tense, and he's just trying to hold on in there. And Dom has a knife in his hand, and he's swinging around and singing like, they are looking at the finger, but they are missing the moon. And then he runs around, oh, here they are, yeah. And then he kind of, when he does like that, he just forgets about the kid, and the kid kind of falls into a pool. And then you can see that he's trying to scramble up and trying to run away, but the mud is like, his feet are kind of being sucked down by the mud. And then Dom goes back to him and grabs him from whatever this part is called. And then grabs him again like, you are not going anywhere.
What kind of animals are in this swamp? Are there like alligators? I would assume snakes, frogs, but like, is there anything bigger, like an alligator or?
You don't know, but you can assume that, yes. There might be some bigger animals, yes.
Okay. Is it possible to use soul music to make like an alligator bite him in the legs?
Well, if you find one, yes.
Okay. How do I know? Oh, I got to locate it. I can't just sort of send out an.
No. You can start making. You can start playing, and according to how well you succeed, I think we can figure out which animal you can summon.
Okay, I'll do that. With sort of the song is it's a custom song by me, and it's called "Attack His Legs."
Okay. So you spend one soma. You're now down to 3.
Yep.
Let me think. If they show an aggressive attitude, you might have to take a successful position roll for your melody to take effect. Yeah, I think that if you want an alligator, I think the opposition level here, it's about 5.
Okay.
So you start from 3 because you have the right descriptor. With my pipe, I can play any melody and touch the hearts of living beings. So that gives you 3 successes. Okay. You now need to reach 5 to have a consequence, or 6 to succeed just with a standard success. Or if you even want an increment, you can try to go to 7. Okay. How do you want to do that? You can roll, you can spend soma, you can mix and match.
I feel like this is nearing the climax, so I will spend a soma and roll.
Okay, so that will take you to 5. That means success with a consequence. Success with a consequence means that what you want to do succeeds, but then I decide something else that happens that you might not want to happen.
Okay, and then if I roll, I can kick it into a complete success.
For example, you can roll 2 dice and spend 1 soma, and if none of the dice rolls a 1, then it will be a standard success. It means
okay. That's what I'll do.
You do that, okay?
Yep.
Let's roll, and I just trust that.
Well,
Forza.
2 and 2.
Okay.
Look at that.
Successes. You start playing this melody, and you can even hear the voices behind you of the men that are kind of stopping. Somebody saying, "Hush, listen." Dom himself seems kind of mesmerized at whatever you're playing, and he kind of lets the body down. Lets the boy down. Puts the boy down. I would say, puts the boy down. He's listening to you, and then he's pointing at you. You are really good. And while he's saying that, a giant alligator jumps from the nearby pond and he's kind of grabbing him by the stomach and just starting to swing him around. And he's like, "Oh no! Those, I need your help!" And then when he says, "Those, I need your help," from the shack, you feel an explosion. Like the roof is flying off, the walls are crumbling, and from inside the shack, you can see this giant, pretty much, completely covered in metal. And his armor seems to be made by an anchor, a piece of a boat, a little stove with a little door in front of it, just right where his heart should be. And the giant roars like, "Roar! It was a trap!" And then he starts walking towards you. So Dom is kind of fighting with the alligator somewhere in the pond.
No.
It doesn't seem to be a threat anymore, but now you have a much bigger problem. You can hear the man behind you is like, "What is that? I don't know. Maybe we should go back."
So this is a giant made of metal. And what did you say about the heart?
He has like this kind of piece of a stove in front of him, and there's a little door where you would put the wood inside, and it seems to be right where his heart would be. And he's swinging this giant axe over his head like.
So I observe really quickly I focus on this very little spot. Does it look like it should be opened, or does it look?
Yeah, it does look like that.
All right. So I'm gonna cast a spell, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to animate Anna, my little ragdoll.
Okay.
I'm going to have her fly to that little door and like have it open that little, whatever looks like it needs to be unlocked, because that to me seems like the weak spot of this giant. And yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do. So
okay, so this spell of animating a doll and make her fly to open a little door, I think it's fairly complicated, but not like the best you can do. So I would say this is a 2 soma point spell that you have to do. You do it. What was her name? Anna.
Anna, yep.
Anna comes to life and it's like, "Oh, I'm alive again. What can I do?"
Anna, I need you to be really precise today. I'm gonna ask you to see that giant over there. I know it looks scary, but I don't think he's gonna see you until you're so close that you can do what you need to do. You need to go in that little door where his like heart should be, and you need to open that door for me. Can you do that, Anna?
You got it, boss. And then you can see that she jumps on the ground, starts walking, running on the ground, and then she jumps in the air. And well, she's not exactly flying, but is jumping really, really far. And she attaches herself to the little door and then swings it open. And inside, you can see that under the door there is this. It looks clearly like a weak point. The skin of the giant, which apparently is pretty much naked underneath. Has this? There is this giant red stain that is kind of a mark. Like here's the spot, X marks the spot, and you can see that he's completely confused by this little thing that is winging his door open. It's like, what is this thing? He at some point he just grabs the doll and throws her away. But the little door is still open in his on his chest. At this point, he advances towards you, and I think he seems attracted by the Pied Piper because he's more colorful and weird, and he doesn't understand completely this Baba Yaga thing. She's too small for him to considered as a threat. So Pied Piper, he's winging the axe at you.
Can I jump in and ask, how do we feel if I play Garu? Because he's kind of been in and out as a character narratively, but if he could be there,
that's a
it
great
seems
idea,
like a
James.
good moment.
That's a great idea, James. I think so. Garu was behind you all this time. What would you do, Garu, whatever you're called now?
Yeah. Hold on, here we go. Garu.
Yeah. Are you changing your name? No.
I am, yep. I think, Garu is fiercer and more powerful than any human, and my fangs can pierce even metal. No one as ferocious as I am. I am hardened, so I'm going to jump on this wolf. I'm going to go for the neck. Like, weak points are great and all, but when you're Garu, everything's a weak point. So I'm going to go for the throat, and I think this is Dark Ego, the big bad wolf. I am unleashing my rage, and I am unstoppable.
The main issue you see with your plan is that you will need to, like, you don't see his neck.
Excellent.
You don't see his neck because it's completely covered in metal. So you need a plan for that. What is your plan for that?
I'm going to rend the metal until I find its neck. So I'm going to just attack and rend.
You have this gift that is called the Big Bad Wolf.
Yep.
So once per scene, you can unleash your rage and receive 3 extra successes instead of 1, thanks to this gift. When you unleash your rage, create a descriptor for it that includes at least one of these words: strong, fierce, unstoppable. You can employ the strength of 3 men, nab through stone as easily as flesh. I think this worked for us. Or break down any barrier. So Garu, from his normal wolf form, or were you still Sebastian?
I think I go from Sebastian, right?
Okay.
And
From Sebastian to what? Describe what you are.
just an unstoppable murder machine of mangy fur and gray limbs and teeth.
All right.
And like,
go ahead. Sorry.
sort of bending down like a coiling spring of murder, and then launching itself a slingshot directly.
Sounds pretty good. Okay, the little Sebastian, like the man that just came out of the forest, starts watching the whole scene in horror. They don't know what's going on. They don't know who is the giant. They don't know why Sebastian is turning into this giant vortex of teeth and claws.
Mm-hmm.
But they are witnessing Garu jumping on the giant with all his force. I think this would be a position roll.
Mm-hmm.
So you receive an extra success when attacking or defending against an enemy that is smaller than you. Once per scene, you can unleash your rage and receive 3 extra successes instead of 1, thanks to this gift. So I would say that you start from 3 already, because I am fiercer and more powerful than any human, and my fangs can pierce even metal. But I would say that you get only 1 extra success because this guy is a giant, so he's not really smaller than you. And his opposition level is 5. So you start with 4 successes, and you need to reach at least 5. What are you going to do? You can go over for better results.
I'm just going to spend 2 soma. I am going to guarantee that I rend this person into vulnerability. So
that,
4.
That is definitely standard outcome. So you managed to do what?
That was to tear his armor away until I could find his neck.
All right, so your jaw closes around his neck. You strip him away of his armor like if it was made of paper, and you can see that he is completely shocked by what's happening, because probably never happened to him that somebody managed to take away his armor. He felt invincible behind his armor, and it's like, no, my armor, I am naked underneath. And you can see that when this happens, you guys that are witnessing the scene, you can see that underneath is a leper, Yeah. So his skin his flesh is completely eaten away by a sickness. It's like, no, you cannot do that. So he's without armor now for most of his body. Like his weak point is flashing, and in the whole situation, he even lost his axe somewhere in the pond nearby. Who is the next one to attack?
I think Pied Piper should go.
Let's see. Do you have any suggestions? I could try and, I guess, repeat.
You have a little mouse.
The mouse could eat the heart. You could placate the villagers so they don't kill us next.
Yeah, see, I don't have any good direct attacks to kill a naked giant. Baba Yaga, do you have
spur me on.
Do you have anything that's it's true, I could do that.
Yes, I mean, I could throw my dagger and help with magic directed to that spot. That's one thing that I was planning to do next. Since now at least one spot is revealed, though I guess even his neck at this point is all exposed, so dagger anywhere would work.
Right.
But if you want to do something else first, go ahead.
No, I think it's probably I'm thinking that it may be better if I let you do the thing and then I deal with what comes next, aftermath, if it's calming the villagers, if it's calming the guy.
All right, so I tried to use another magic, and I want to ask, when I used my magic before, could I now activate the evil witch, which is my dark ego? Because it says when I use one of my spell, I receive an extra success to any action and can unleash my evil aura. Can I do it now, or should I use another spell and say that I will also activate the dark ego?
When you use one of your spells, I'm trying to figure out if this is different from the Italian version. You receive one extra success to any action. No, I think the dark ego allows you to use one spell and also receive an extra success to any following action.
Okay. So I'm gonna use that then.
Like these following additional effects are something that you get on top of doing already the spell that you have in mind. So you can also, if somebody is breaking a promise, you also get an extra success, or you can make animals flee on top of the spell that you're already doing.
Yeah, so what I wanted to do was that I wanted to do my spell and then, activate the aura to make everybody, animals and the villagers, run away in terror, so that...
Okay, so that effect you get by default the dark ego. That effect you get by default if you use the dark ego. But what is your main spell? What are you trying to do here?
So I'm trying to throw my dagger, which I have on me, and direct it in that spot that my doll opened earlier, and see if I can, weaken this monster. And I mean, he's still standing, right? He's not defeated by any means.
Well, he's lost his weapon and he's stripped of his armor, so he's in a weak position right now, and you could easily probably finish him, even though you haven't technically hurt him yet, but he seems very vulnerable.
Okay, so I'll try to throw my dagger at this point of his weak spots that have vulnerable spots that have been revealed. And so I guess that will make it a little easier. I'm gonna direct my dagger and accelerate it with magic so that it would hit in a stronger way. My short arms cannot do a lot of damage. And so onto that, I will attach the aura from my dark ego that would scare everybody, animals and regular people, to flee from the scene.
Okay, because I think there's a little bit weird wording here in the English translation. I think we need to revise this for the final game because there's something that is not super clear. We need to check what is the Italian version of this. Because there's this activator, you scare ordinary people and can dispense punishment through your magic. So first you need to do one spell, and then this dark ego thing is activated. You can activate it, okay? So you would use the first gift first.
Yeah,
the magic thing
sure.
you have there. Yeah.
So my spell that I'm going to use, the magic gift, is to... I'm actually going to throw the dagger with my hand, but then I'm going to cast a spell that will pick it up and accelerate it and throw it at one of the weak spots that have been exposed.
Okay. Yeah, I think that to accelerate that so that it could pierce his heart or something, it would be maybe another 2 soma point, which would take you to 0. You okay with that?
I would be at 1 because I've used 2 before and 2 now.
I marked... no, I think you use 1 in the beginning to do something else. What was that?
No, because when I used to listen to my words, I didn't use
Okay.
the die.
Okay. Let's say that you're back at 1. Maybe I've wrote it down wrong. All right. Well, the dagger in your hand levitates in front of you for just a moment, and then it turns horizontal, and it just accelerates so fast that you can almost hear piercing the wall sound, and it goes through the open weak point of the giant, like it was butter. You can see that, like, he's looking at his wound, like he doesn't understand what is happening exactly, and he looks at you with a question on his lips, like, "Did you just kill me?" But he cannot pronounce it, and then he collapses on himself, and is just a mountain of flesh and scraps of metal. Now that he's finally defeated, the kid. Well, at this point, I think the alligator has taken care of Dom, and the kid is just looking at the whole scene, completely covered in mud, but he's sitting on the side and just witnessing what's happening. That is also pretty new for him as well. And he's like, "Well, that was awesome. I didn't know that your doll could do that. You didn't tell me."
Well, okay, so I can respond to this in a nice way, or I'm activating the evil aura. It's one of the other.
Oh yeah. If you're activating the evil aura, then the kid definitely tries to run away towards the men that came out of the forest. That they haven't stepped basically out of the forest for real. They just like, fuck no, pretty much. So all right, so they're like, "Hey, let's go back to town. I think the problems here have been resolved. Let's pretend this never happened. Come, Klaus, come. We'll take you to your dad. What did happen out there? Don't worry about it." And then you can hear them going away towards the town.
Mm-hmm.
James, you are sitting at the desk of Margareta. And at some point, you feel that someone is upstairs.
Margareta, do you have a housemate?
A housemate? No, but I felt magic just a moment ago. Why you're asking? She's looking upstairs, so you know that she's feeling the same.
Yeah. I look up and I say, and I wink at her to indicate that it's a ruse, it's a lie. No reason. It must be the gas from the medicine. And then I draw my pistol.
Okay. You can hear one of the wooden
The floorboard.
Yeah, floorboard creaking.
Where are in the first floor? There must be a ladder or some stairs to get to.
Yeah, there are some wooden stairs to go up.
Yeah. I hold out my arm with the missing hand and I lay my pistol on it and I'm using it to steady and I'm looking right at it. And so the second anyone comes down those stairs, I will pull the trigger and shoot them.
While you're waiting,
Mhm.
you hear a noise behind you, and it's Baba Yaga and Garu and the Pied Piper coming through the door, and you get distracted for a moment.
Yep.
Hey, we're here.
What do you? Yeah, I turn and I'm very frustrated.
You
I
see
spin
James
around.
You see James spinning around with a gun in his hand, and Margareta is just looking at the whole situation. She's kind of frozen, like she doesn't. It's a weird situation. You're at the door. James has a gun in his hand. She's just not moving at the desk where she was sitting.
Do I sense a lot of magic in the air?
Well, not now.
Okay.
But you see James doing that thing, and you're distracted while he does that. And then, in a blink, just behind him, just very close to Margareta, someone appears. And it's this girl that you saw in the crowd. And this time she's turned towards you, and she's a very beautiful girl. You can see she has very long blonde hair, and her nose is removed, and she has the same sickness that the kid had, and it's covering half her face. She has these very piercing blue eyes, and she has a knife in her hand. And she takes the head of Margareta, and you can see that she's trying to strike.
Yeah. I declare I am James the Swordsman from the Vatican or whoever my boss is. Sorry, I can't remember.
From the order, yeah, okay.
From the order.
Yeah, the Vatican, yeah.
Of the order.
It's always them.
You will not leave this house. So I'm using my dark ego. I will have my satisfaction. And my opponent is clearly this woman with a knife at Margareta's throat.
Okay.
I think I have to spend one so I have declared my challenge, and I get to act twice against the target of my challenge. So I'm going to shoot her in the face.
Okay. So you're pointing the gun and shooting, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Basically, you can spend one summon to stop their action with your own. I think this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So basically you manage to do that.
Yep.
And you shoot her in the face, and you basically remove one of her ears.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that she's turning around completely. The thing was completely unexpected. She thought that she had the advantage here. She thought that you didn't see her. She clearly didn't know who you were. You can see that she's bringing her hands to the ear. It's completely bloody, and she's turning towards you again. It's like, my face is even worse now. And then
The other barrel.
you shoot the other.
I do, because it says specifically I may act twice against the target of your challenge.
Okay, you shoot again. This time you hit her in the chest. She's looking like this, and then before anything else happened, you can see that she's clicking her shoes together, and tick, tick, and then she disappears.
Damn it! Yep. I already stopped her from killing Margareta. Okay.
And that's before anybody else can do anything?
Yes. Margareta is completely frozen by the situation, and she looks at you. You killed her. Did you kill her?
I shrug. There was magic. I turned to Baba Yaga.
She's probably not doing well. No magical creature responds well to being shot in the face and in the chest, but we should still be careful.
You should really go to talk to my sister Helga in Pforzheim before she gets to her, because she doesn't have you to protect her. And here, guys, we stop this scenario because actually this one is the first part of 3.
Nice.
And like the story is not over, but we'll wrap it up for today. So I guess you understand which story this scenario is referencing. If not, like you didn't discover it, but it's pretty obvious the girl was called Dorothy.
Yeah.
It is an reinterpretation of Odd's. Yeah, there is more to it. The second part is actually being written right now, so there might be a chance to play it not that far from now, and it will be useful to play test it.
I'd be super excited to do that.
But yeah, definitely. I think this is the first time I played this, and even with all the other games we did, where somebody managed to damage Dorothy. But you were in the right place at the right time. Usually everybody was somewhere else when this happened, and several times she managed to kill the witch as well. Mm-hmm. So you can end up in a situation where Margareta dies. So yeah, I'm sorry that there isn't a second part yet, but we will conclude here today. And I hope that at least it gave you an overview of how the game works. And actually, it pointed out to me that there is something that we need to fix in the English translation because, for example, one of the gifts of Baba Yaga is a bit unclear. So we need to check.
What was the original? Why do you think it's different?
I'm thinking this part here, it sounds a bit weird to me. I need to check what is the original. I did reread everything many times, but of course, at some point you kind of become blind to it. And it's this one in the Dark Ego. You receive 1 extra success to any action. When you use one of your spells, you receive 1 extra success to any action. I need to check what's original here because I'm not sure to which action we are. What is the action here? Yep. If it is an action that you do after you doing the spell or something else, it's
yeah.
It's a bit
that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. So are we like? So the way this ended, we could infer that we sort of rescued this witch, at least for now, and then there is an opponent that might come back that is probably not dead but damaged.
Yeah, I think that's what happened in your story. So she's gonna be super pissed now because from what she says in the end, James, you understand that she did care about her face in some way.
Yep.
And now her face is worse than before. So thanks to you. So she might have a grudge.
All right. I also have a grudge.
Yeah, of course, because now she's marked by your gift.
Exactly.
So there's that. All right, guys. I think we've wrapped it up for today. I'm really sorry that Paul could really not take part, but it was a good idea to use Garu in the other scene. So I will reuse that if somebody has internet connection issues. If you join the Discord, maybe when the second part is ready, we can try that out and see how it goes.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, thanks so much.
This was great. Thank you.
It was a pleasure to play with you. And please stay online for a second. I'll stop the recording.
Sure.
All right. Thank you for anyone who's seen this later.